From Mumbai, we travel to Delhi to meet Vivek Nair of the Leela Group. His large and expensive property in Delhi has been the talk of the town, but the slowdown in the economy has got him concerned. As the world grapples with the crisis, less and less people travel to India for leisure and rooms in luxury hotels go empty. The declining rupee, which otherwise makes India cheaper for incoming tourists, has not been reason enough to attract more people. And so Nair is putting this slowdown to work by adding another 5 hotel properties in 5 years, shedding assets to reduce debt, and moving to a manager-operator model where Leela doesn't buy the real estate.
Gives me great pleasure to have Vivek Nair here on Surviving the Slowdown. Thank you very much. Good to have you.
Great pleasure to be on the show.
How are hospitality firms managing this slowdown?
Well, as you know, the macroeconomic conditions are not good at all, with our looming current account deficit and all the economic parameters against us. It's been a tough time for the industry. In fact, ever since we had the Mumbai attack and the economic slowdown,
it hasn't made a real comeback.
They've been trying to come back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the US economy also has not really picked up, and the Rajasthan circuit is basically dependent upon the US.
That's right.
Affluent American tourists to come there.
Right. But I would wonder that with the rupee sliding so significantly,
yes,
there would be some respite for tourists to make a move into the country today.
That's the unfortunate part. In spite of about 28% year-to-year depreciation of the rupee, that's not happened, and neither is the other hotel companies benefiting, because 3 years ago we moved to a rupee tariff. So
yes,
so we don't get the benefit, and those hotel companies who are expanded in the last few years and have taken foreign currency loans are really feeling the brunt of that, because you got to pay back now, and the rupee being 56 and so forth.
Right.
So that's been a big
in many ways
blow.
You're saying that the benefits that were brought in by a declining rupee haven't quite translated. Now, given the macroeconomic scenario, what are companies like yours doing to either buck the slowdown or perhaps expand at a time like this, when you feel that demand may be low but investment can be given a fillip?
Well, if you look at the recent past, in 2007 the hotel industry really reached its crescendo, and that attracted a whole host of entrepreneurs to get into the industry, apart from hotel companies like ours. So you have developers, construction companies, investing and management companies, both from abroad as well as in India, managing those companies.
Right.
So that's the reason why now you have about 22,000 rooms coming in the market from last year onwards, whereas historically we only had about 4,000 or 5,000 rooms every year being brought in the market.
But do you think that then we do have a sense of overcapacity today, and that's something that will take some time?
Temporary glut, because there's been a huge mismatch over the years. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why you find in the winter months in most cities, Delhi, Bangalore, and other places, the occupancies crossing 90%. So there's a huge mismatch. In fact, according to the Ministry of Tourism, which undertook a study recently, we are almost 180,000 rooms short. We only have 120,000 rooms in the whole country, which is unbelievable for a size as big as ours.
Right.
It's even less than what Manhattan has, or even Bangkok has.
You think there's been sort of a complete hands-up attitude on the government's end towards this space? Because look at the hospitality sector. It's very individual group-driven. It never seems to speak in one voice.
I wouldn't say that. We have been trying to speak in one voice for a long time.
Okay.
And we have managed to
Are you being heard?
Well, the perception was a problem till now. It was perceived to be elitist and only catering to the five-star sector. In order to highlight the importance of tourism in India, we made a presentation to the finance minister two budgets ago, a pre-budget memorandum, and he was shocked to hear that just the 6 million foreign tourists, and of course 4 times that number domestic tourists, we employ 53 million people in the country. And he was shocked to hear that the single largest employment generator is travel and tourism. at 9.2% of the total population.
But what do you think is the reason for all this? I mean, how is it that the government itself doesn't know what's going on in the hospitality sector? What can be done, and who is going to deliver the goods, so to speak, to keep the sector away from getting sluggish?
It is exactly for this reason that the Ministry of Tourism undertook a report. We had about 10 working groups study the problem. And the report, which has now been finalized and given to the Planning Commission, envisages about 22,000 crores of investment in the tourism sector in 12-year plan, starting 2012 onwards. And what is envisaged is that in order to increase our India's share of world tourism from 0.6 to 1, can you imagine it's only 0.6 right now?
Right.
To increase it to 1, we require, as I mentioned, 180,000 guest rooms. Mood
of the country point of view, I mean, you know, you're very much a part of India Inc. What is your sense about what's going on from a macroeconomic state of the economy? Do you get a little concerned that this bad mood will actually spill into how much people want to spend when they go out to hotels and restaurants?
Well, we get directly affected because airlines bringing in, both business travelers and tourists tell us exactly what the mood is, depending on the seat utilization.
Yeah.
And hotels are the first ones to know when business travel slows down or foreign tourist arrivals.
And sometimes, most of it, I mean, from a tourist point of view, is discretionary spending, so that's the first one to take hit.
That's true, yes. Yeah. So it's apparent in the last, 3 quarters that business travel has slowed down, generally due to the uncertainty of the different policies.
But if there were any few reforms that you wanted to pick that could help the sentiment, what reforms would you actually pick from the government's huge list of unfinished agenda?
Reforms in general, of course, there are so many. Is a huge laundry list. But for our industry, we've been asking for inclusion of hotels in the infrastructure lending list.
Priority lending.
Because right now we get term loans for 8 or 10 years, and it takes a year and a half to get permissions itself to build a hotel. If it's a coastal zone, beach resort project, you'll be lucky if you get it before 2.5 years. And then 2.5, 3 years to construct. And it's impossible to build such hotels and repay the loans within 5 years. So once you are part of that list, you get loans as are given to airports, etc. Okay. And the good news is that hotels outside city limits have been given that. It will be included in the harmonized list of subsectors. And hopefully, very shortly, will be given that benefit throughout the country. So in which case, we'll be able to at least have term loans for a longer tenure.
Good to speak to you. Thank you very much, Vivek. Appreciate it.